If I scared you. Welcome back to Good Things. Don't forget, you can find us on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to supertalktv.com. But Rhino, because it's not Friday, because we're going to have time to celebrate Good Friday with our families tomorrow here at SuperTalk. So we got Tanya in the house today for Thursday for movie reviews. And Rhino always sets us up with the music that is probably connected to, but this one I know. Everybody knows that sound. Everybody knows the Mario sort of intro or sound. It's not exactly a do 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 do, and so he's got a big weekend. Or he came out Thursday.
Yeah. So you can go see it now. Super Mario is a big thing at my house when my kids were a little bit younger. But one year they dressed up as Mario and Luigi, and it was adorbs.
Yeah.
But I haven't had a chance to see it yet. But it's going to be the big one this weekend. It's rated PG. The Nintendo company joined forces with Illumination, who brought us all the good stuff, Minions and Despicable Me, all of that. And so, anyway, it's the merging of two great entities to make this movie. And the director is connected to Teen Titans, that animated series. So I have nothing but high hopes for it. Of course, Chris Pratt is the voice of Mario. Lots of big voices in the movie. Fred Armisen is in it as Cranky Kong. Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong. Keegan-Michael Key, who does no wrong, he is Toad. Charlie Day plays Luigi, and Jack Black is Bowser. So a lot of good people. Yeah.
Are they taking? Is this the first Mario movie? You know, I'm late to the movie game because I know you have Sonic. I'm wondering, did they take after Sonic to sort of try? Ryan is laughing at me. No,
there was a very bad Mario movie that came out in the early 90s starring John Leguizamo and
I forgot about that.
It had Dennis Hopper as Koopa. And he wasn't a big scary dinosaur looking dude. He was just a guy with a bad haircut.
My niece was into it back in that day, and I unfortunately watched it. I remember that now.
So this is their trying to redo it in a better format. I gotcha. Well, I know my kid's excited.
Yeah, and my whole family, we will go see it, and I really feel like it's going to do really great this weekend. There's another one that's probably not going to do as great, but it's probably still pretty good. It's called Paint, and it's loosely based on or inspired by Bob Ross. It's about a public access television painter who his world turns upside down when a younger version of him comes along and tries to steal everything from him. And Owen Wilson plays the main character named Carl. So I think it's going to be one of those kind of fun ones to watch, you know. And Bob Ross has made a comeback. I mean, even though he's passed away, I remember when I was a kid, my mother loved to watch him. She liked to paint, and she would watch him and do.
You know, the sad thing is he sold the rights to his name.
Oh, no.
I watched a whole documentary on it, and so his family doesn't get any of the money from it.
Oh, that's really sad because he's
I would never
everywhere.
Buy the Chia Pet. But they are there. I mean, whomever owns the right, they are bringing Bob Ross back.
Yeah, for sure. He's everywhere. Yeah. Even my kids know who he is, which just blows my mind. But the other big release this weekend that I did go see is Air. This is the movie about Nike's partnership with Michael Jordan. It is rated R, lots of F-bombs. I mean, I remember turning to my husband after it started.
It's unnecessary.
And I'm like, why do we have to do this? And I know they're just trying to keep it real, I'm sure. And I'm sure it's a group of athletic men. So, I mean, you know, it's probably what really happened. But the cool thing about this movie, we all know clearly it's a story of, you know, the development deal that Nike struck with Michael Jordan back in the day. But we all know how it turns out because clearly that's like years, the domination.
Decades later, and they're still overpriced and wanted.
Yeah, exactly. But this movie had me on the edge of my seat. Like, what's going to happen? Even though you know, but it's really fun. It's a big love letter to the 80s. fun to go back and see all of the fashion and the computers, and I think Mario may even be in it, some video games and that kind of thing. But it's hard to imagine a world where Nike wasn't as dominant as it is now. But at this time, they were number 3. I think number 1 was either Adidas or Converse, and the other was number 2. And then Nike was number 3, and they had very little market share in the basketball world. And so they were really looking at just folding it, crumbling it, and just moving on, because they had all kinds of Olympians. They were known for their running shoes and that kind of thing. But they had one shot, a budget of $250,000, and do what you can to try to save this division of our company. And so one of their executives named Sonny, played by Matt Damon, who is fantastic in this movie, he is watching footage. I mean, he just eats and breathes basketball, and he watches him, and just based on his body language during a game-winning shot when he's in college, he says, this guy's it. He's going to be the next big thing. And so they put all of their cards on him. And, of course, it paid off. But one of the fun things, Michael Jordan's not really involved in this movie, but Ben Affleck directed it, and he plays the owner, the founder of Nike. But he was like, I can't make this movie unless I get Michael Jordan's blessing, So he meets with him, and Michael liked the idea. He said he only had 2 conditions. One was that Viola Davis plays his mom, which was a great call. And the other, that one of the executives at Nike, who was not in the original script, he wanted him in there because he played a pivotal role in his signing with Nike and then the subsequent relationship. So anyway, when Viola is on screen, I mean, it's just magic. And then she and Matt Damon together, he kind of his character just shows up at her house to just talk to her, because at this point, Michael had no interest in Nike, and he was trying his best to change that. And so, anyway, their conversation, it was like watching just the most beautiful dance you've ever seen. It was so good. And her real life husband plays her husband in the movie, which I thought was really cool. So just stellar cast. Aside from the F word being thrown around, there's one scene where Michael's agent gets upset with Matt Damon's character, Sonny, and he goes on a rampage. And when that starts, I would say run outside for about 3 minutes and come back in. But other than that, it was just a perfect movie. And it actually today was announced that it earned the Critics' Choice Seal of Distinction. And those aren't handed out very often. So that just tells you how good.
I love finding those sort of side stories to stories we already know and sort of sharing those, because I would say that's probably a very interesting. And kudos to not doing just a documentary. I think it's neat to make it into something like that.
And the other thing that I thought was really interesting about it is the way they depict Michael in the movie. They show real life footage of him. Now, when this movie starts, he is in college and has already been drafted by the Bulls, but nobody had a clue what he was going to be. And this guy just saw something that only he and his mother knew was coming. And, it was just, I don't know, it was done a little differently than a lot of the biopics you've seen. Well, this really isn't a biopic because it's not about him.
Who plays Michael?
Well, I don't know. And the interesting thing about it is he's really not in the movie other than the scenes. You'll see him in the background or walking through the room or the back of his head when he's shaking somebody's hand, but he never really speaks. And so when the movie was over, I asked my husband, I said, I wonder if that was like a real actor or if it was just somebody that was tall They just said, "Hey, you want to come?"
Could you imagine like that being the you getting cast as Michael Jordan and you don't have to say anything and it's like you get the role of a lifetime?
I know.
You get to put that on your resume. I played Michael Jordan.
But I thought it was really cool the way they did it. And anyway, yeah, just stellar cast. Oh, Jason Bateman is in it, and Jason always has a 80s look about him anyway, and so he really pulls it off in this movie. So Chris Messina plays that agent that I was talking about that's got a vulgar mouth. But anyway, just great, all acting great script, just a really fun insight to what happened.
All right, you got options this weekend if you want to get out and see a movie, but I'm sure the families will be packed in going to see Mario.
Yes.
I think that'll be a good time. Thank you, Tanya. And stick with us. We got a little bit more for you.